Hola, hola, hola. Welcome to my page. Today I want to talk about actually a topic that's very near and dear to my heart and actually has me concerned with the way that things are going. And it has to do with pedophilia and normalizing their behavior. They're trying to tell us that basically that's a normal behavior for them, that the way they feel is normal. Yeah, why don't you tell me about the victims? Why don't we talk about that? They're trying to, a few weeks ago, actually several weeks ago, I posted on my page about a movie that came out. And I saw that there was kind of like a controversy about it. So I went and I looked for myself because I'm the type of person before I go making any type of comments or any type of whatever, I'm going to do my due diligence and I'm going to do my research and I'm going to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. So I saw there was a controversy about this movie. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go check it out for myself because I know how politics is as well. So there was a politician who was saying, you know, how this had to do with the other party. And I'm like, here we go. It has to do with politics. I said, let me check it out. So I went and I checked it out. Disturbing. Now, I'm happy to say that is not on the top 10 anymore on Netflix, which means that people aren't watching it, which means that the hashtag ban Netflix, it's not on the top 10. So that's good news. I'm not going to mention the movie because in actuality, I really don't want to give it any kind of I just don't want. I just don't want to get the name out. I don't want nobody clicking on it. I don't want nobody. I don't want to getting views. So I'm not going to mention the name of the movie. But it was on Netflix, and it has to do with little girls who are in a trying to supposedly be in this dance competition, and but that is not the gist of the movie. Now I had someone say that basically what they're trying to do is trying to bring awareness to how little girls act. And this is why you have to be careful. This is why you have to be very careful because they're going to paint it to you like a Picasso. They're going to sell it to you like it's a Sistine Chapel. And they're going to try to give you cotton candy with extra sugar on top. Don't fall for it and don't fall for the hype. This movie is not about bringing awareness. I was a little girl once, and I know that there were little girls who actually dressed a little, a little above their age and act a little mature. So we know this. And as a parent, you should know that this is continuing to go on. You have to be living under a rock not to think that there's still little girls out there who think they're older, who dress mature, and who want to portray to themselves to be mature by acting in a adult way. So that is not what this movie is about. So I watched the movie. I watched it with my fiance. He was uncomfortable to say the least. He was like, "Why are you watching this?" I'm like, "Because I need to see it before I make a judgment. Since this subject is near and dear to me, I want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about before I go talking." So we watched the movie almost immediately from jump. There's a little girl there. She's got tight clothing on, the way she's moving, the way the camera is on her body. We were both like, okay. And as the movie starts progressing, they're warming you up to this. They're warming you up to the behavior, getting comfortable with looking at a little girl dressing provocatively and moving in such a manner that you should be actually like in your 20s to be dancing like that, honestly. So as the movie goes on, they're, warming you up and they're getting more provocative. And then when they're doing the dancing, this is where I drew the line and I had to stop the movie, was when the little girl gets with the clique and they start practicing and she starts teaching them because she's watching what's going on social media. So they're imitating what's going on social media. So she's teaching them how to dance, but the way that they're dancing, it's not dancing. I'm into dancing. I watch dance competitions. I watch dance movies. This was something totally different. The way these little girls were moving, the way they were touching themselves, the way that the camera was focusing on their private parts. Yeah, that's where I drew the line. I said, okay, I've seen enough. My fiance was totally uncomfortable with it, so we stopped it. This is why you have to beware, because I also came across on Amazon, they have a documentary and it's called I, Pedophile. And it's about a documentary and they're talking about how being attracted to children is a natural feeling. It's a natural thing. Let me repeat that again. They have a documentary out there on Amazon that's called I, Pedophile. And it's about pedophiles that are talking how this is natural for them. It's natural behavior for them to be attracted to children. You got to be very careful with this, because what's happening is they're trying to manipulate you. They're trying to brainwash you. And then what's going to happen is, as you're looking at these documentaries, as you're looking at these videos, you might get to a point where you're going to be like, I kind of get it. I kind of could sympathize with them. No, you should never, ever get to that point where you sympathize with a person who is attracted sexually to a child. That's disturbing. Okay? To say the least. In all honesty, I don't want to watch videos on how that's normal behavior. Show me videos on the victims. Show me videos on how their lives have been destroyed by these acts. Show me that. Actually, I saw on Netflix, there is a series. It's called The Keepers. And it talks about little girls who were sexually abused by a priest, several priests, and how a nun found out about it. And it's hard to watch because you got to hear their stories and what they went through, but that's the reality of it. And that's what we need to see, because we need to be reminded of that. But you shouldn't be comfortable or fall into the trap that this is normal behavior. It's not normal behavior. It's temptation. And what it is that they are feeding into the temptation. They're not fighting it. They are feeding into it. That's the bottom line. Because it's not normal. It's not normal to have that attraction to children. It's not normal to do that to children. The same way it's not normal to murder. It's not normal to rape. It's not normal to steal. None of that. It's not normal behavior. And it shouldn't be accepted. And us as parents, we need to stand up. And we need to speak up. And we need to say, we don't want this. Because what happens is, once this becomes normalized, and then they start having rights, and it'll get to a point where they're going to have the law on their side. They're going to be protected. And when that happens, then what happens to our children? They're not going to have any protection. They're not going to have the law. Okay? We can't let that happen. We cannot let that happen. Because then human trafficking, as it is right now, it'll be worse. Because these sick people And I'm calling it what it is. It's sick in the mind. You're falling into temptation and you're not fighting temptation. Yeah, they're going to be protected. And our kids are going to be sitting ducks. And you may think that this doesn't apply to you. Maybe you don't have any kids now. But you know what? One day, this will come knocking at your door. One day, this will come knocking at your door. Whether it's your child, your grandchildren, a niece, a nephew, a stepdaughter, a stepson, it's going to come knocking at your door. So don't think that this doesn't apply to you or that you have nothing to do with it. You're sadly mistaken. This will come knocking at your door sooner or later. So as adults, knowing that this is wrong and we shouldn't accept it and we shouldn't allow it, we need to do something about it. You know, this is not acceptable in the eyes of God. So if God doesn't accept this behavior, then neither should we. Now you may say, well, how could you say God? How do you know that? Well, I'm glad you asked me because I'm about to school you. And you're welcome. And most of you are probably going, oh, here we go. A Bible thumper. No, I'm not a Bible thumper. But I do believe in God. I do believe in the Word of God. I do believe in the instruction of the Word of God. A lot of people say that in life we don't have a manual on how to live life, but we do. The Bible. It's just that it's hard to follow, so people don't want to follow it. But that's a different story. That's a whole totally different video. But the reason why I say it is because in the Bible, it does talk about causing children to sin. When you do these things to a child, an innocent child that is born with the love of God in them, and they're innocent, and you cause them to do these things over and over and over again, you're causing them to sin. I'm going to share with you a story. I had a friend. He passed away. May he rest in peace. He used to tell the people this, he's told people this story. So I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind if I shared his story. He was gay. And how he became gay is because when he was a little boy, the pastor used to sodomize him. And the pastor used to go over to the house on the weekends to go pick him up, and he used to cry. He used to cry bloody murder to his mother that he didn't want to go. No, I don't want to go. Mommy, please, I don't want to go. And being the devout person that she was, told him, no, you have to go. You have to go with the pastor, Not knowing that he was sexually molesting her son for years. This happened for years. And he said that because of that, after a while, after years of that happening, it got to a point where he started to like it. It became normal to him. He started being attracted to, the little boys around the area. This pastor opened the gateway and altered his life by doing that. Because he did say that he did have sexual relations when he was in high school with a girl. And he enjoyed it, but he was already into that. And that's how he lived his life after that, being with men. When you cause these children to sin and you break their faith and you break their hope, a lot of them grow up either continuing to live that lifestyle, or they get so messed up in the head that they don't know how to cope, and they end up trying to self-medicate by numbing themselves, by turning to alcohol and drugs. Again, altering their life, altering their future. But it also speaks in the Bible of what happens to the person who causes a child to sin. So in the book of Matthew, in Matthew 18, 5 through 9, for those of you who don't know the Bible, that's the book of Matthew. That's chapter 18. And I'm going to read verse 6. So it says, "But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be drowned in the depth of the sea." Do you know what a millstone is? A millstone is... it's a big, like cement. They actually use it like on the Flintstones, the wheels. It's big, round cement, and it has a circle in the middle. Well, that weighs 3,000 pounds. A real millstone weighs 3,000 pounds. So it's saying that it would be better for you, and if you're gonna sin, cause one of my children, innocent children, to sin, it would be better for you to tie a millstone around your neck and to throw yourself into the depths of the sea. Do you know how deep the deepest depth of the sea? We're talking about way down there. With 3,000 pounds wrapped around your neck, do you know how fast you're going? Do you know how horrible that death is going to be? Everything is going to burst. Your eyes, your ears, it's going to bring you down so fast. That's if it doesn't break your neck before that. It would mess you up. That's deep. That's how bad God does not approve of it. And he's saying it would be better for you to do that than to cause one of my innocent children to sin. And it also goes on, if you keep on reading, it says, "Woe to the world for temptation to sin. For it is necessary that temptation come, but woe to the one by whom the temptation comes. And if your hand and your foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life crippled and lame than with 2 hands and 2 feet to be thrown into the eternal fire." So in other words, if your hands are going to cause you to sin, it's better to cut it off, because that you're going to enter the kingdom of heaven crippled, but it's better than to enter hell with all your limbs. Now, I don't know about you, but I fear the wrath of God, because the wrath of God, it is real. And that's how serious he is about it. It's like taboo, like hands down, like it's obvious in the Bible, and I have it here. I'm not lying to you. Here it is. Matthew. Okay? So if it's not acceptable to God, in the eyes of God, and it shouldn't be acceptable to us. And we shouldn't tolerate it. We shouldn't allow it. And we have to stand up. We have to stand up, and we have to speak up, and we have to make sure that our children are safe. That's the bottom line. We have to make sure that our children are safe. We are the voice. We are the protectors of our children. And we have to make sure that they are safe at all costs, no matter what. Hollywood wants to make these movies. They want to try to make you comfortable with it. They want to try to, politicians or whoever are trying to make laws where they're trying to kind of condone this behavior, change the sex, whatever the case may be. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay diligent. And make sure that this doesn't happen. I am going to be a voice. I'm going to continue to be a voice to this, because I'm going to make sure that our children are safe. And I hope and I pray that everyone does the same. If you know it's wrong, that you have the strength and the courage to speak up and to stand up and to protect our children. Thank you. Peace and love. Take care of each other. Love one another. Thank you for watching. And if this video has touched you in any way, shape, or form, brought any value to you, like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Take care. Los quiero mucho. Love and peace. Bye.